show. And because a lot of people will come up and pet a dog by tapping him.
Yes, a very good point.
Which dogs don't particularly like, as I understand it, because it bothers them. But they do like the, when you say petting, like the stroking.
It's kind of like, you know, the hail fellow well man. Well, how are you doing? Whoops. You know, and it knocks all the juice out of you. I like somebody who's a little quieter in the approach. And if I were a dog, I wouldn't like that. I would like that person to stand there quietly and let me go over and sniff them first. This is the polite way. Then we establish touch. And touch is that incredible thing that just calms everything out. It's our way of communicating with all of creation, really.
And animals need that
Yes.
as much as humans.
It's very deep.
You have that beautiful dog with you again that you had before.
Yes, he's just around the corner.
I don't know if you saw this dog before, but we're going to bring him out in a moment. You borrowed the dog. It's not yours, I understand.
No, he's not mine. And this is our second date, our second evening out. And you'll see how adapted he is to me already.
Yeah.
Donnie. Donnie. Come on, Donnie. Donnie.
The first date must have been crazy. Oh, there he is. This is a gorgeous dog.
Stage shot. Okay, come on.
You know, the lights out here, any animal comes out and sees these lights and strange people.
Have a sniff.
Isn't that a gorgeous animal?
Now, you notice when I'm petting him, the head first, the touch, calming him down.
Right.
And then there's a point here in the groin that is very good to touch. It's called the flank or groin, and a dog will often present this area. It's a very affectionate thing to do. It's the equivalent of handshaking. If you were a human being, I'd offer my hand, and the dog offers his flank in the same way. This guy's humanized, so he offers his paw, too.
Let me get this out of the way
Yes,
first, Mike, and
okay.
we'll come right back.
Right. Excuse me.
Right now, Starkist Tuna presents Charlie and his latest plan to show good taste. This is a very affectionate dog. Now, that's beautiful. This is a golden Labrador Retriever.
A golden retriever, and I must emphasize that it's not just tender, loving care and touch that has created an animal like this. Number one, it's good breeding, and second, he's been to obedience school. It amazes me, you know, people who have dogs, the dog won't mind, it barks too much, blah, 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 what should I do? And a lot of these dogs are intelligent, and if you had an intelligent child, or any child, you send it to school. And dogs should go to obedience school.
Why are people reluctant to do that? I hate going to someone's home and the dog charges across, jumps up on you, or attempts to...
Yeah, whatever.
Or whatever, yes.
Or the dog is in heat and embarrasses you. And then the owners always say, he's not that way with everybody.
No.
Yeah.
Or he's fond of you. He doesn't, you know, and the dog is in your lap and you don't want the dog in your lap.
Well, sometimes you can take it as a compliment. You know, the dog does get excited and will occasionally mount your leg and behave as though your leg is a lady dog. Now, dogs will do this with each other, too. Sometimes because they're just excited. There's nothing sexual about it. We often interpret a lot of animal behavior as being sexual. The other point, though, sometimes a dog will mount your leg because it's his subtle way of asserting dominance. And overindulged dogs will often behave this way. And in the end, you finish up with a canine delinquent who's number one in the home, just like, you know, an adolescent delinquent. And the key to the solution is obedience school.
Right.
Don't send your dog to obedience school and have the trainer do it, because you have to be trained too.
Right.
It's a two-way relationship.
Can most people train a dog themselves at home if they read a good book? Or if they...
I think they can have a good go and probably do very well. But it is nice for some of the subtleties of obedience training, eye control, contact, positioning, and so on, to work, at least for a short while, with an obedience trainer in a
This
school.
dog obviously has had some training.
Considerable, yes.
Right.
He also had his whiskers removed because he's been in a show. I'm
Why
a
did
little
they take the
disappointed
whiskers
with that.
off?
I don't know, faddism. It's strange. He doesn't normally have such a smooth face.
Yeah. Yes, Doc.
I wanted to ask Dr. Fox, at what age is it too late already to get into the...
To start obedience training?
Yes.
You mean for yourself or some animal?
How old is your dog, Doc?
Well, most of them are grown. You know, they're like a couple of years old.
Is that true? You can't teach an old dog new tricks?
You can teach an old dog new tricks, but sometimes you have to socially rehabilitate the dog to the point that you are number one leader, teacher, as well as the loving parent. And a lot of dogs don't like you becoming number one after they've been indulged and have had the complete run of the house and have had your car and your swimming pool and everything else to play with.
Right.
So good luck.
Yeah. Does obedience training affect a dog's personality at all, or does it make him a better animal?
It can make him a better animal. It can make him aware of your needs, and he understands through the control of obedience, Donnie, come, that you respect his needs too. Our second date, that's obedience. I've met some individuals now who are working with children and older people using the pet in therapy. And this is an incredible dimension that we're very interested in developing, especially in old folks' homes and so on, of having an animal. It gives you a sense of worth, of something to take care for. And again, it's this reciprocal touching, that when you touch an animal, that your heart rate starts to slow down as well. It's a two-way phenomenon. And this is love. This is the physiology of love.
Why can't you teach a cat? Now, you just said, Donnie,
cats.
come. Now, if a cat walks away and you say, cat, come, the cat will sit at you and go, shh, and walk off. And I mean, they don't do nothing.
Johnny, if you say, kitty, kitty, kitty,
Yeah.
the cat will come immediately.
Well, not always.
Train him.
If he feels like it.
Yeah, I mean, they get so, they're
We
independent,
talked
aren't they?
about my 3 cats one time when I was on a couple times ago, and I got a letter from a lady who said the people who don't like cats were rats in a former life.
It's a very emotional charged issue, the cats and their owners, because if you say you dislike cats, it's very un-American, I guess.
This whole business of liking and disliking is rather tricky. We've discussed before why people dislike cats, because they're not loyal, you can't dominate them. Some people like dogs because they can control them. But beyond the like-dislike is just appreciating the animal for itself. But when you can't train a cat, it's hard to appreciate it. And I contend that you can train cats. They're very responsive.
Having never met this dog, if I gave him a few simple commands, would he be likely to obey them?
Yes.
If I just tried, just a few simple...
Yes, if you come out here and say, hi, Donnie, over there.
Hi, Donnie. Come. Come on, Donnie. Come. Sit. Sit. Sit, Donnie.
Sit.
Sit. Good dog. That's a good dog.
Slow motion film. Speed up the film, please.
That's a good dog. Okay. Isn't that nice? Stay. Stay. Come, Donnie. Come. Come, Donnie. Donnie, come.
Johnny, that wasn't you. That was the camera moving. Don't feel so bad.
Dog looked at me, turned, and walked away the other way. Did you see something move over there?
The camera moved, yes.
I thought I did that very well.
Should nobble the cameraman afterwards, yes. He should have been least trained.
Yeah.
It's very difficult working with animals, as you can see, on stage. And it must be an
Very
amazing
strange
career for these show
surroundings.
dogs
Yeah.
to get used to it.
I don't understand how
As
to
I
do
say,
it.
this is his 2nd time here. He's done remarkably well already, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's wonderful.
How often should you send your dog to have physical?
To have a physical, I would say at least every 6 months.
Right.
In some areas where you have heartworm, a common blood disease, you should have them checked regularly for that. And of course, you need annual vaccines and boosters and so on. Getting a pet does take money, because you're going to have a health bill, regular checkups, and so on. But please also consider, if you're going to get a dog and bring out the best in it, send him to school and take yourself as well. Then you bring out the best. Totally reliable. We have an estimated 1 million people a year being bitten by dogs in this country now. It's an epidemic proportion, and the health services are enormous.
Is that mainly because the dog is not trained?
They're not trained, and they're just allowed to roam free on their blocks. It's not the dog without a home that's causing this problem.
Right.
It's the dog very often on his home or free roaming on the block.
Why do people do that? Now, these are supposed to be animal lovers, and yet I see dogs running loose all the time with tags on them, that have been registered, and they've obviously had their shot, and the people let them run loose. Now,
Well,
why do they do that?
I think they obviously love their dogs. I'm sure a lot of people in California living out in the country think it's fine to let an animal roam free. I call this the naturalistic ethic. Let them roam free, let them have free love, lots of puppies and so on. But when you see this in a global perspective, it's very irresponsible. And I get hate mail, from cat owners. I say, keep your cats in. Raise them indoors and get them used to the indoors. Letting them out, they can get injured into fights, run over by cars, very unfair depredation of wildlife, too. The hate mail comes in. But okay, love your cat, love your dog, but please be responsible.
Good point. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. That dog completely under my domination now. I'm glad to know it was the camera, not my command.
I think your affection came through more than your dominance. It was
Yeah,
good to
it's
see.
a beautiful animal. Thank you for being with us. It's always
Thank you.
fascinating, and I think it points out some problems and the responsibility of having a pet, which
Absolutely.
goes hand in hand with it.
Another child in the home.
Orson, thank you, as usual. My thanks to Jane Fonda, also for being here tonight. Skip Stevenson. Tomorrow night, Phyllis Newman will be with us. Violin virtuoso Eugene Fodor. TV commentator Dorothy Fullheim. And we have the oldest Dodger fan, as far as we know of, Mrs. Marvin, who is 93 years old, goes to all the Dodger baseball games, and she's bringing her 2 daughters. I think they're 68 or 70 years old. So all 3 of them will be here tomorrow night. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
I'm humbled by that applause.